What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here in the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with the final 2024 NBA/any Lindy's edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Recording this night before, as always, it's Monday, December 30th here, but tomorrow, what I'm recording for, Tuesday, December 31st. Wild to think that another year in the books here on the Odd Shopper YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to everybody who participated, who tailed, who chewed me out about different things all the times. I love the discourse, and obviously this is what I do, I bet. And I very much enjoy what I do for a living, and I appreciate you guys being along for the ride. Being able to talk through the process with you every single day has made me a better. And being able to also talk with you about things that, might be leaks in my game. Totals. We have really taken a massive step up in 2024 in totals in every single sports. MLB, extremely profitable in totals. NFL have been okay in terms of totals, and NBA's have just been, we've been setting the world on fire with these totals. Been feeling really good about the cards here of late. Sometimes the results, you get some back and forth. Jake LaRavia on Sunday did not enjoy his performance. We'll talk about him here on Tuesday. He's out, so there's that. I guess we don't have to talk about him all that much other than me being mad at him. But what I'm getting at is thank you so much. 2024 was one of the most enjoyable here from a professional perspective, both in my betting and on this YouTube channel, talking with you every single day. So thank you for that. Without being too sentimental here, we got 6 games to be breaking down in the association. No locks that exist here on the board. I'm not going to force locks for the sake of forcing a lock here on the last game. I can tell you my favorite play, but we have 2 lean likes. We're going to have 2 likes, so you're going to have basically 4 potential plays that you could be firing up on your cards for tomorrow. Try to get the TV set up. Trust me, it's broken. We're not going to be utilizing that one here, but I'll be back, of course, on January 1st, breaking down everything. Wednesday in the NBA streets. Don't have NFL going until Saturday, and then Sunday. Detroit, Minnesota, going to be the main event. But without further ado, producer Jacob, for the last time this year, let's get to the picks. And why wouldn't we have Boston as 17.5-point favorites taking on Toronto? 2 pieces of news still pending as well. On the Celtics side, are we going to have Kristaps Porzingis sit out and allow him the opportunity to celebrate New Year's? I think it's very live. And Drew Holiday sat out the last couple as well. We've ended up firing up Peyton Pritchard. And here's the thing, is Peyton Pritchard is just awesome. Awesome in the absence of any of the main guys. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, and Derek White. Those 4 specifically really lead to extra minutes for one Peyton Pritchard. It also leads to crazy usage in these kind of game environments where they're massive favorites. And yeah, it was a bummer that he didn't end up covering that parlay the other day, but we put Boston with the Peyton Pritchard 15 plus. We ended up Hulk slamming that for the 2 units. And well, it ended up coming to fruition. Again, been a little bit more aggressive when I've really had stands. And fortunately, I've had 3 of them. I've hit all of the over 1 unit plays there in the premium Discord and on this program over the course of this season. I think 2 of those came from this program. That one included actually was a lean, so I guess it would make it all 3. But Toronto plus 17.5. We're not going to be going anywhere near that in any way, shape, or form. You should know by now. Wait for the news. Books aren't going to put out Peyton Pritchard props until after the fact because they don't want to get burned by people like me who are going to just parlay all of his stuff together, and that's what you should be doing. Single game parlay, Peyton Pritchard 15 plus points, 4 plus rebounds, 4 plus assists this time around, purely because you're not getting any value adding Boston minus 2,500 to the old card against Indy, where you're getting minus 550, minus 650, depending on when you bet it. That's a different thing because, well, I thought those numbers could have been even longer in conjunction with 15 plus points for Peyton Pritchard. Ends up going berserk in a couple of these spots, continues to hit the points prop. But I think adding the rebounds and assists as those rates have come up here, even in the absence of Drew Holiday here alongside of Tatum and Brown, where you think that rebound rate wouldn't get catapulted down. It's been rebounding pretty well. I think it's a really good play here, but just a lean for now. We're waiting for more information. This is probably my least favorite game to try to break down on the entire slate. Milwaukee going up against Indy, and I'm a little bit surprised, to see this total sub 230, but you go through some of the rates, and I guess it makes sense to some extent. Aren't you a little bit thrown off? I thought for sure we would see a total for these 2 teams north of 230. In fact, I have this game at 231, but again, that's 2 points. Again, it's weird to see the modeling come this way, but I think that's just kind of a result of some of the injuries that we're sitting around waiting for at times. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the only one remaining now on the Milwaukee side. Dame came back last game. Chris Middleton's been starting routinely. They get, sorry, Miss Jackson. Oh. Andre Jackson Jr. is just going to be starting and playing his like 18 minutes there. But until Giannis is in, again, this total should be surging north of 231, probably even, in the event that Giannis ends up playing. But I don't have a great read on the situation, and that's what it really comes down to. Again, with Giannis in this total, I would have closer to 233. At 231, though, when we're talking about 2 points and the fact that it would end up being efficient if Giannis is out, basically 2 points on each side for me, I'm straddling the middle as is. So there's no value to be had really whatsoever. So over 229, that's your only other lean. Let's get to some actual plays, shall we? Because everything from now on gets really fun. Such as the Clippers getting 2.5 points going up against San Antonio. For what it's worth, I was a little surprised to see this spread, but then I reran some numbers and, well, it looks pretty good to be a San Antonio Spurs fan right now. Chris Paul is really calling good games, and yeah, I'm going to call him like a quarterback here. Calling good games there for the old Clippers. But one thing that's interesting is the Clippers are on a back-to-back, and I think that creates a little bit of uncertainty as to what we're dealing with here. They're going up against the Pelicans as we speak right now, and I don't know if we get main pieces sitting, but I thought about taking a stab on San Antonio, but again, I've got them inside of this number as is. I suppose that could be an all right play, but on a back-to-back, taking on his former team, we've had 7.5, 6.5. We found great opportunities to bet his points prop multiple times now this season. It's Chris Paul. Ended up sending that on a number of plus money spots. I think you're going to get plus money no matter what on 10 plus points. And I think Chris Paul always wants to stick it to the Clippers. It's not something that I try to factor into modeling all that much, but if everything across the board looks efficient to me and we get this kind of a number that we get all the time on Chris Paul now, plus money on the 10 plus point department, I'm going to bet that. Usually FanDuel ends up being the best spot that you can fire it up, but we're going to make it a lean like here purely because 217.5 total, not all that great. Victor Wembanyama, Devin Vassell in the starting lineup. We know the usage is primarily going to work through those two, but I think Chris Paul, a little special place in his heart every single time the Clippers come to town. You guys want to know exactly what I end up firing on Chris Paul or other plays here across the board as we're talking through some of these leans likes here? Well, Lindy 50 is the place to do it. Ended up running into a lot of really good situations. We'll see how this Detroit-San Francisco thing pans out for me. Ended up pretty aggressive there on a couple of plays. Ended up having a couple of $25 cards. And then, well, they took all the unders off the board there. Hopefully that comes to fruition. But those are the kind of things that you're going to get in the premium Discord before anybody else. You're going to get those. Then I'm going to tweet them out potentially. But for the most part, all of my plays, you are getting every single day, Sunday through Saturday. That is all of the days of the week. How about that? 7 days a week. Sometimes it's like 6.5 because Saturdays, they're for the boys, or in my case, for my dog and wife. But Lindy 50 down at the link below. Would love to see you guys in tails. That's $10 for your first week or $25 for your first month, which is less than $1 a day. Look at that. I did the math for you. Alrighty, y'all. Back to the picks. Man, already at the halfway portion of this program, hit the like button if you could for me. Goes a long way. That way we continue to do these videos all the live long day. NBA, the schedule is finally settled down where we get routine amount of games every single night. I'm going to get more in depth here as we go, purely because, well, NFL will be dealing with playoffs stuff, and I'm really going to be revamping some NBA stuff to try to find some other markets that we can tap into. First quarter markets, second quarter markets, third quarter markets, first half, second half. Looking at all of those because there's some value there. OddsShopper is pretty good at identifying them. You can sign up for the Portfolio EV stuff. The link for it is down below as well. They're identifying any inefficiencies in the marketplace on a day in, day out basis in the prop markets primarily, but also you'll see the occasional first quarter money line that pops up. And I think that's something that I'm kind of interested in here. Minnesota getting 7.5 taking on OKC. And this is technically my favorite play on the game. On the day, that is. And why is that? Because I think if Dante DiVincenzo's back, our complexion as a basketball team looks completely different. We finally saw a pulse. I'm not going to say he's back. I'm not going to say this entire team is back, but 7.5 points is a big number to be getting here, still in the absence of Chet Holmgren. And I think that needs to be expressly thrown out there. OKC is going to look ridiculous come playoff time if they get a healthy Chet Holmgren back into the mix and if they can keep everybody else healthy. Alex Caruso will be out for this game, and I think that's another big one for me. where Mike Conley, Dante DiVincenzo not having to deal with one extra defender out there, a big deal. Now, Luke Dort is back here for OKC. You get Cason Wallace in that starting unit. You can get the shooting of Isaiah Joe once in a while mixed into the starting unit, or, just a hot hand approach if he's knocking down shots early on. But getting Alex Caruso out is a big deal to me, and the number really hasn't moved as a result of it. He hasn't been playing as many minutes here in the normal regular season, but he just got completely paid for a reason, because come playoff time, this team that is extremely deep, 1 through 12, they're going to be redonkulous, and Alex Caruso will be playing more minutes than just about anybody else outside of the core 4 in that starting lineup. I'm sorry, Cason Wallace. I don't mean to do you like that, but Minnesota getting 7.5 points here with this current construction, and maybe Julius Randle finding a little something, and a 215.5 total, which lowers the variance of the game. Got this at 5. So Minnesota being a 5-point dog, well, that's very different than 7.5. The only reason I'm not locking this is respect for Oklahoma City and the fact that Dante DiVincenzo, one game does not a new player make, but he's starting to string some starts together. Well, not starts, off the bench play together, but Dante DiVincenzo can be such a difference maker for this Timberwolves team if he can knock down shots. Finally knocking down shots. Memphis also 7.5 here, going up against Phoenix. And why is this number so long? Well, I'll tell you, you're going to get Ja Morant out. You're going to get Santi Aldama out. You're going to get Marcus Smart out, Jake LaRavia out. I'm still mad at him. Gigi Jackson out, Zach Edey out, Brandon Clark out, and Vince Williams Jr.'s out. I just named like 8 of their best 10 players. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be out there. Desmond Bane's going to be out there. Surrounding them, you're going to get Jalen Wells, who, has been a rookie starting here this entire season. John Conchar started last game. I expect that. And Scottie Pippen Jr., I think it's kind of the fun single-game parlay piece, similar to what I talked about a little bit with some of these other guys in the NFL streets, or, what I'm really paying attention to in terms of alts and potentially running those up to the moon. But he's been playing good enough basketball that I don't think the books aren't noticing that. It's more of just, if you get a competitive game environment here going up against, on the other side, Phoenix, with Devin Booker questionable and he ends up playing, I could see some major pace, 237.5. However, not exactly going out of my way to cheering for it, because I don't think that we get Devin Booker playing here in this spot. And in addition to all the uncertainty on the Memphis side, missing, again, 8 of their best 10 players out there, how is 237.5 just like a de facto number here with the amount of shooting that is lacking on the Memphis side? With Devin Booker out, you're going to get more minutes for Ryan Josh Okogie in the rotation randomly, Monty Morris, Iguodaro at times. I mean, it's not all that pretty, and Grayson Allen primarily coming off the bench doing some of the shooting there in the absence of Devin Booker. Again, I'd be surprised if he came back here on the 31st, but for the time being, even if you got Devin Booker in, I think it's still a 1.5 off. Currently, got it closer to 3 points off. That is the total. Under 237.5, have it at 234.3. Technically, that is much lower. Not even technically, that is actually in the last play of the 2024 NBA season and all of Lindy's videos for this season, or this year. What am I talking about? Cleveland, -2.5, taking on the Lakers. I'm just getting sentimental. I enjoy this so much, talking you through all of the metrics and the modeling and everything else. Well, we got a brand new model to dust off here, because the Lakers, over the weekend, decided to finally get rid of D'Angelo Russell. They found a dance partner out there in Brooklyn. Brooklyn getting D'Angelo Russell back, probably where he played his best basketball, if we're being completely honest. Was an all-star there, found ways to be extremely effective. Off ball at times, playing alongside of Spencer Dinwiddie, but those days are no more as he heads to Brooklyn. And now Cleveland, yeah, they look a little bit better here, but we're going to get LeBron and AD playing in this one. I know we have the questionable tags next to them. I would be very surprised if they ended up sitting here in this spot, kind of opposite of Devin Booker. Look at that. But one was a groin strain, being Devin Booker. The other one's illness and just basically, the eternal Q tags that we see on both of them here. But assuming that they're more than likely to play, sweet. But if you get LeBron out, wouldn't break my heart, because the thing I'm the most interested in is the new acquisition, Shake Milton. I don't know what books are going to project him for in terms of minutes, but I go through this roster, and Max Christie's been playing great defense. I think he continues to be the starter there. I think we see Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. I think those are the core 5 guys, but Shake Milton off the bench, that's going to be the D'Angelo Russell role. And I think he can fit it a lot better in the way that the Lakers want him to fit it than what D'Angelo Russell did. And I think that could lead to more minutes here, like a surprising amount of minutes. Now, for those who don't know, Shake Milton played over in Philadelphia once upon a time, bounced around, and now coming by way of Brooklyn, where they just had, they have so many young guards that they are out there developing. And the Lakers, they're definitely in a win now with LeBron and AD type mentality. Whether or not that can come to fruition, probably going to come down to any type of bench play that they have right now or can get at the trade deadline. And that's where I'm very, very interested here in dusting off Shake Milton right from the get-go. I think that he is a very intriguing 10-plus point plus money type, very similar to what we talked about with Chris Paul. I'm also going to look at his assist props because I think if we can get a number here, I don't assume he starts. Remember this. I don't assume he starts, but I see 26, 28 minutes in the cards right from the get-go. So I think we're getting nice plus money here, not even just in the low 100 type numbers. So Shake Milton, not somebody that I think will have a crazy amount of usage, not somebody who's going to be insane out there, but a much better game environment type for his skill set. Getting out of Brooklyn, where they play slow paced, heading to LA, where it's more offensively forward, and that will be his job on this team. And that does it for another and the final of 2024 edition of NBA Lindy's Lanes, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely festivity we have before us. 6 games. I'm going to be betting them. You should be betting them here as well. If you want to know everything I fire up, hit me up on X at Eric Lindquist or in the premium Discord, where I will obviously be taking questions all the live long day. Got to play some golf today with my dad, which was really, really fun. Good way to finish out my year. Hopefully you with your family, any way you possibly can, enjoy them, be with them, be safe, be merry, and Happy New Year. Thank you so much, Producer Jacob. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Tuesday.